Well, hello,
Welcome back.
and a fine. How are you, folks? Yeah, that was a long sabbatical there, I know, but we are back. And part 2 of episode 6 or episode 7, whatever you want to call it, we are here. I'd like to thank you, Jeff, for your words that you shared with us about Justin and yourself.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for asking.
Well, man, that's just one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we all have so many things that are just amazing that we should be proud of, that all too often don't come out. And
Absolutely.
I think that we're blessed, and I don't mean in a religious way. I think that we're blessed to have something like this to be able to share these feelings and these stories with other people. My only hope is that we don't go astray too far. But
That would be good.
yeah, I think so too. So today we were talking before we did the other episode, and we said, well, what are we going to talk about? Because we sort of do this stuff. I don't know. It just depends on how we feel, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to talk about some silly, funny shit when you had a horrible day. You need to talk about that stuff.
Yeah, get it off.
Deal with it, man. And then the funny shit can be had. So anyway, I think that today we would like to talk to you all about what it means and how to recognize when you're living a life that you claim is for other people, maybe your family, more than likely your family. But really it's for you. So maybe you're a fighter, like we talked about that.
Yep.
Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's your hobby. Maybe it's your other friend group. Maybe you're part of a photography club. Maybe you're the 4-H.
It could be anything.
It's anything. Well, I'm doing this because it's, it makes me better for my family, or I do this for them. I want them to be safe. So I spend all this time out at the range or buying new weapons or doing evasive maneuvering training or whatever you go and do. I don't care. That's for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not for your family.
Yeah.
And we need to grow up, fellas. Ladies, you guys might want to listen too. We need to grow up and recognize when we're doing shit for other people that it's really for them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get anything out of it.
No.
There's no end game for you. It's just doing it.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. And I don't care if it is just that group of people that you say you're doing it for. I'm doing this for my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I want her to know that dad works hard, and
Yeah.
I'm going to go and I'm going to achieve this, and I'm going to do that all for my daughter. Well, where the fuck was your daughter at the whole time you were doing that?
Yeah, well, that's a big thing, too, of, like, people like, oh, man, I'm doing all this for my family. Cool. If your family never sees you, what do you think they'd rather have? You or what you're providing them? Because guess what? You can make a lot of money, but if you fall off the face of the earth, all that money ain't bringing you back.
Yeah.
A
No,
lot of people don't think that. It's a good point of what you're talking about. Even if hobbies become that, like, they can be hobbies, but they can't consume. And that's what, like, we were talking about in the previous episode. Like, when I fought, it literally had to be that. Up in the morning, early training, work, train midday, train at night, training nonstop. Like, and at that time, too, the last time I fought, I was finishing my degree at the time, too, doing all my school stuff at night.
Yeah.
And some nights I'd be in class, and I would not have seen my girls at all until the next day, where there was a break in that time frame. So it could be almost like 48 hours.
Yeah.
But even though we're in the same house, I'd see them, but they'd be asleep. Yeah. People don't realize. Now, the fighting I didn't have to do, but I was doing the degree for the family.
Sure, yeah, of course.
Provide a better lifestyle and better jobs and stuff. But, like, it's exactly that, man. Exactly what you're saying.
That's one of the few things that I think that we can say.
I think.
Like, because you know that a degree, as long as you're using it to obtain something in your career field.
Yeah.
And now you're not just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I mean, I went to school for music instead of computer engineering, and I was very happy to do so.
Well,
but it was a different scenario. I know. I play. But I do think that when you put yourself in that zone to go be a student again for your family, that's a very noble thing to do, because it's not fun. It's not easy, especially at our age, right? Whether your age or mine, this shit sucks.
Yeah, well, thankfully it was a while ago.
And
but no, it's just
well,
like
no, absolutely, yeah,
if
sure.
you can focus on those things, but like certain things, yes, the sacrifice is worth being removed from your family for what you're doing. Then other things, it's like, is it?
Right.
You know, you got to look at like the scale.
Yeah.
What is the return on my investment of what I'm doing here? No different than true like ROI is like, what is my return on this investment of time?
Yeah.
But you don't get time back. So you got to think of it that way.
You don't, man. I mean, every second, right?
Yeah.
You know, I brought this subject up because I mean, it was very selfish. I've been thinking about this a lot over the past couple weeks. Well, probably longer than that, but it's been about the first thing I think of and the last thing I think of when I go to bed is, did I do anything today to make my kids think that our lives are more about me than them?
Mm.
And if I was away for them for a long amount of time, and for me anymore, that's a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, I'm just used to them being around if they're not in school.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So if I'm around them, I'm not on my phone as much as I can, right?
Yeah.
I'm aware of it when it happens, and I put the shit away. So there's that. There, you know, down in our studio here.
Yeah.
The shit didn't do itself.
No, yeah.
Did it?
No, you put a lot of time and energy in here.
Put a whole lot of hours in here. And some have said to me, well, why don't you just do it? Just not do this. But what I need people to understand right here and now, and even my own family, is that that's not how I operate.
Mm-hmm.
And some people think it's absolutely batshit crazy that I just bury myself in whatever the project is, and I'm going to do it the best I can.
Yeah.
You know, with whatever resources I can scrounge together, because I'm not a wealthy man, you know, in the financial status or, you know, money. And so I would say that I have always thought of as a noble thing to do, but in all actuality, most of it's just me just hyper focusing on something on probably a very unhealthy level, but a managed unhealthy level to where I know what I'm doing. Yes, I know I've only slept 4 hours tonight. Yes, I know I'm on a caffeine. I know all these things, and I also know what to look out for if it goes a little crazy, like a little haywire, and all of a sudden I'm not sleeping at all or whatever. Yeah. But I digress. I think that all too often we trick ourselves into thinking the hours away or the hours in the task or the money spent or the drive made, the flights made away from home. God knows I was a road warrior for years in the DOD sector, and I would never wish it on anybody now. I look back and I think, golly, man, what the hell was that guy doing? My ass was on fire 24/7.
No, a lot of people, obviously you need to have a job to provide for a family, but a job should not consume a life.
No.
You know?
It shouldn't.
Especially, you know, if you're young and single, let it consume you because you're young. Your responsibilities are a little less than that of someone. You start bringing other people into your life, you find that partner, then you bring children into this world.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a hard thing, like, you know, saying like being at home and turning the phone off because like my job sometimes doesn't stop. It's like, you know, your own call. Like, and it's hard to not respond to those things sometimes, like, and let them sit and like until the next day. I'm getting better about things like, oh, hey, I'll take care of that tomorrow. But like putting the phone down and being in that moment of being with the family. And it's a hard thing, I think, for a lot of people nowadays because we're so attached to these damn devices and stuff. And
I don't think that the phones I don't think are the problem. It's the amount of time that we allow our kids to be on the phones. And then what are they doing on them?
Yeah.
It's a powerful tool. I mean, and I hate, you know, I took my
computer.
It is, and I took my sons away some months ago for some BS he was involved in. Kids trying to act like adults. Okay, so what parents need to understand right now is if you go and you look at these devices, it may not be your kid saying it, but a lot of these kids are literally saying, "Where are you? Why aren't you responding to me? Do you like me anymore? Why do you hate me?"
Yeah.
This is a child, and I'm telling you this, I'm reading these things, and it's within minutes of each other, seconds sometime. And these kids need to understand that they don't have to be there all the time for these other people, and that they don't need anybody there for them. It creates this weird little codependent, like immature, fit-throwing animal.
Well, they've become so sensitive to the fact that they live in an instant gratification world with this stuff, to how fast technology works. Like, think how frustrated you get when the internet doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what the flip? Like, but we come from an age where dial up, where it took 24 hours to download a song or some type of, media file. And now, like, we live in this world that people now.
I mean,
why aren't you responding to me? Why? People need to realize that, yes, we have these devices, but you're not going to be glued to them. There's more to life than what's in this little tiny screen.
Like when you become
existed for 10,000 plus years and years and years without this.
Yeah.
There's so much cooler things out there.
The thing is, now, the profit drives more technology.
That's true.
Nobody's going to release, Apple's not going to release a new iPhone, the same shit, right? Like, they got to do something. And that drive for more money drives your need to go buy something. Yeah. So they think. And I know I've said this before, but man, what happened if people just didn't go buy a bunch of shit one month?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the stock market would crash, the government would be upside down. But anyway, it's not just the things that a lot of people, I think, blame, right?
Yeah.
You can't give this to a kid and not expect him to go find every corner of the internet, no matter how disgusting, vile, or untrue.
Well, there's no
stop.
There's no lock.
None. There's apps you can use, but they don't work, and kids know how to get around them. I mean, my daughter's got I don't know how many different TikTok accounts and this and that. I can't even keep up, and I'm thinking this is what it's coming to. But she doesn't give us any other reason to be upset. She's not. Well, she's wonderful in school. She's a musician.
It's that you hope in your years of parenting, what you've instilled now as she's evolved to her age of being a teenager, that, okay.
Yeah.
You get a little more responsibility and free thinking. Hopefully what you and the missus have all instilled have sunk in, that she makes those right choices with the technology that's at her fingertips.
Yeah, and I think she is. Our other one, he was not. So we had to take it, and
damn boys.
We saw the first 3 days were really hard. I mean, obviously way more hard for him than us, but we saw it. We felt it. He was a different kid after like a 3-day withdrawal. Mm-hmm. He had withdrawals. He was losing his mind because he couldn't get on his shit. Because during that time, we also told him there's no communicating on the PlayStation or the whatever games you might be able to do that, or other apps. I don't know. And we took the phone and blah, blah, blah. And after those 3 days, it was, dude, he's a different young man.
Yeah.
He wasn't a kid. Mm-hmm. He was a young man. He was acting like a young man.
It's hard because they seem to have to grow up. Like, my daughter's only 7. Thankfully, she's still innocent at heart, child, and trying to allow her to do that. And at my times, like, we think to ourselves, my wife and I, oh, she's only 7. A lot of these things don't need to be a reality yet.
Yeah.
To her. Like being a good person, respect, your tone of voice, manners, all
fundamentals.
Yes. And doing good in school. And she is.
Yeah.
A lot of parents say this. I think we do have one of the most perfect childs in the world. Like perfect child. Just
that's awesome.
How she is, her personality, her heart, everything.
Well, she's a perfect mix of you and your wife. Perfect.
Well, I'd say more so my wife, thankfully.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
So
I've seen her running around the gym.
It's energy and all that goofiness. But yeah, like it's those small things that you just hope as a parent what you put into them that sticks, and the head on their shoulders does the job it's supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I think a lot of these kids aren't getting a fair shake right out of the gate. And, I mean, it's not really their fault. It's sort of their parents' fault, but it's more just that availability to something so young and so fragile. They can grow up real quick.
Yeah, well, and it goes back to, like, the beginning of the conversation, that if you're so invested in some job or other activity,
what else are they going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I know we gave our kids devices early, little iPads, I think, and then sat them in the corner in like the kids section at the gym for 2 hours or whatever while we did our workouts. And we thought we were doing that to make ourselves better people. Oh, yeah, we really did. And physical exercise is the best thing you can do to make yourself feel better as a human being.
Yeah.
It released natural endorphins. You don't have to take any drugs, any uppers, any nothing. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when it becomes a family event, but it's not a family event, you might want to take a look at it. I'm not judging you. And if that's what y'all want to do, that's great. I'm telling you, you're going to regret it. I'm telling you that there's going to be a day where you look back and say, I wish I would have spent more time, maybe even just taking a walk with my kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wasn't running, wasn't trying to compete, just walking with my kid. And it did more for me as a whole human being than just that workout would have done for me.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a conversation I had a little bit with my wife today and this week. Been very, very distracted. She's been trying to have conversations with me, and I'm just like, and like listen for a second, and then just cut off and like go on. And she got like, just work is just chaos, as everyone's job can be, and it's just nonstop, and it's just like trying to get the brain to shut off, to be present in the moment of now, versus okay, I had to do this. Okay, what do I need to do? Okay, that person did this. I need to do this. It's like it just doesn't shut off, and it's just like stop, hit the pause button, be there. And like today, and I told her, like, I'm sorry, like no excuse, but it's just work's a little chaotic. Just got to get through this little wave. I'll calm down. But no, like
so you know it. You realize when you're doing
it. And I knew that I did it Monday. I knew I did it yesterday, and like trying to catch myself, but unfortunately I catch myself after the fact of when I mentally shut myself off from what
But then do you say it? Do you say it to your wife or to your daughter? Do you make it do you make it real? Like hey, I'm sorry for doing this.
Like I did like this morning and stuff like that, and then today, but like it would still like it's not.
Hey, this isn't easy.
Well, no, it's at the time of when it should be done. I should be doing it, but I'm not.
This shit is not easy.
But no, like it's hard to sit there and like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I got this. Go do this. And it's just these constraints. It's just like, you know what? It's just like it's sometimes you just got to really just like, hey, fuck it, okay, push it aside. Yes. And I've caught myself doing that with my daughter. Like, oh, hold on, babe, hold on. I'm like, and it's like, you know what? Hey, what, babe? You know, and I'm trying to get better at that because especially some of the things I read, like talks about, like those things of life, those moments of what you're doing. Is it really that important? Right. And then there, something like just 1 second, like real quick. And it's like, okay, yeah. Yep. And then just put that aside because you can come back to it.
Totally. I found myself doing that same thing this week. It's so remarkable that we say that. I was in the middle of sending something that in all reality did not have to be sent until the next morning. Mm-hmm. It's after normal person work hours, what I call it. It's probably 7:30 or whatever. And I'm sending out a work email and halfway through typing it, I was like, what the fuck am I doing, man? Click, peace, see ya. And we're done.
Just save.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah. And the kids notice that. Yeah, I think that our the hardest thing is that we have all become so used to having a dopamine rush at the swipe of a screen. Yeah, and I mean it's very similar to a drug, like cocaine or heroin. They do the same things. Yeah, they release these chemicals in your brain, serotonin, dopamine, and many others. And you get addicted to that. So it's like you have to have auditory or visual stimulation 24/7. Oh, yeah. And it's a wonder that any of us fucking sleep because our brains are going like,
I was listening to a podcast and you're talking about like what's your anxiety level if that phone just starts going, like if you have it. And mine's always on silent because I don't ever want to hear it. Right. But like if you open that phone and there's 10 text messages, what's your anxiety level at? Can you sit there and let it go? Right. Or you're going to go, like today, I had a swamp day, and I had a lot of texts, and some of them I didn't get back to for like 2 hours. Just literally couldn't. And it's just like, my anxiety is there, but I need to do what's pertinent that needs to be done now. Yeah. And that's thankfully something I can do sometimes in my brain, but unfortunately when sometimes I need to do that, I don't do that. Yeah.
It'd be so nice if we had a copy of ourselves that was always our yin or our yang.
Yeah.
That would like flick you in the ear. Like I only say that jokingly because we do have that. It's our inner monologue. It's our inner or dialogue. It's our inner thoughts that are sort of that voice in our head that when nobody's around and you're talking to yourself, or maybe they're around, you're like, I wish this person would shut up or whatever. That's your other half. And if it's bad or good, it doesn't matter, because if it's bad and you react bad, then you're letting it control you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's no better than being a schizophrenic that's completely out of his mind or hers. You really can't, I don't know, like you can't, I guess you can't react. I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with that now. It sort of, it upsets me because it's personal to me. But I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no, and it's like you're talking about the yin and the yang. Like,
yeah.
Alan Watts talks a lot about that. The yin is the negative, the yang is the positive. That those are the complementary things in life. You have to have both. That things can't exist with one out another.
Right. Things aren't always going to be good. If they're always good, then something's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's
nothing
no
will come, but no different than they're talking about the fires have been gone from Australia, and then just look what beautiful nature is going to come back and rebuild.
Yeah. Be better than ever.
Negative, positive. You have to have that, because also too, going off of what we're talking about, like being distracted in life or doing these things, being so one-sided for yourself. If you didn't do those things, which you think are positive, others find negative, and they didn't bring it up, you then would not be changing yourself and your character, evolving as a person. You would still be that one-sided person all day long, just doing this. Yeah. And you would never do anything else.
You probably have a job, right? You have a job, you're making money,
but
you're sleeping
nothing else in
X
life.
number of hours. You're right. Yeah.
You'd be a single, miserable, lonely being. And that's what people don't realize. It's those complementary things of the yin and the yang of life that push themselves towards each other. Yeah. Some days yin wins, some day yang does. Sometimes it's a 50-50. That's why it is the yin and the yang symbol. It is that 50. Well, I don't know which percentage you want to break it into, but that's why it is that percent.
It's supposed to be 50-50.
And then you have this little dots of each color, the white and the black in each, because there's still always that little bit with it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't outsmart it.
They never remove themselves. They're there.
Yeah.
You just now have overpowered that negative or that positive for that moment.
Right. I know a lot of times I talk about things that I think are bad, or I think things that sort of like piss me off, but I want to talk about something that I'm really happy about. So give me a couple minutes here. So and it's no secret that I have my demons that I deal with, whether they be personal or my old career or whatever, childhood. And it's all well and fine, but up until recently, even when I was going through a lot of therapy and whatnot, I never really realized what it meant to own something until now. And I mean own it like, dude, you did that. Mm-hmm. Like, man, you made that mistake. You made this happen. It may not have been your hands, but it was a ripple effect. It was you had a direct effect on how somebody else was having their day, and it probably wasn't good. Mm-hmm. And so now what I'm realizing is if my kids do or say something, or my wife says or does something, or the dog's acting away, anything, and I just sit there and I just watch it and listen to it, and I don't mean like Forrest Gump. I mean like I'm an active participant, in my house. I'm not like comatose, but and so what I've been able to do for a couple weeks now, at least more times than not, because I've messed up. Mm-hmm. Like I said, this shit is not easy. I've been able to assess it and recognize it, and then just completely dismiss it.
It's good.
And I haven't always, I have some, like I said, followed that up with I have followed it up with no, like ruminating, like anger, mm-hmm. or like anything, selfishness or whatever. And my wife and I have had some disagreements. It was okay. It was okay. It's all right. We know, at least now, that it's possible to have a marriage where you disagree, and all of a sudden you realize, oh shit, this is just us not being that yin and yang Like we are, but we're not messed up yet.
Yeah.
And then, wait, give it a few days, give it a few minutes, a few hours. You never know when you do click and when it locks back in and you're in the same space. Oh man, I experienced that for the first time within the past couple weeks.
That's
and
good.
I felt that instead of my reactions being reactions,
Mm-hmm.
there were thoughts
Mm-hmm.
and there were responses. And sometimes I didn't even respond. Sometimes I didn't even say a word. I just knew that my silence was enough. I didn't have to say anything because if I say something, I'm going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
If I don't say shit right now, I'll be okay. I can come back from that.
Yeah.
I want to say something so fucking bad right now, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna wait. And sure as shit, it goes away.
Yeah.
So how many of us, and not that I'm I'm good now, but I feel good.
Yeah.
Haven't in a long time, and I feel real good for what I've been doing and meaning what I do and doing what I mean. Dude, I mean, I'm sorry, man. I'm so happy about this because I haven't really told anybody about it.
Well, no, it's
That's what this is for.
Growth in life, and when you really find them,
Dude,
it's like
when you lock in that, and that's what I called it, was locking in. It was almost like that's the moment when you want to say, "Whoa, you are like my soulmate."
Yeah.
You are. There's a reason why we found each other at 15 years old.
Most people don't.
I thought for a long time that I was brought into this world to somehow save her from something. I don't know what. But in reality, I needed her because she was going to save me.
Well, that's the yin and the yang, man.
Yeah.
That's the yin and the yang.
It's crazy.
Both aren't, in this sense, both are positive to each other, that they complement. And I can say the same of my wife. Of when we met a decade ago, I was nothing but driven on fitness. Did not deviate from nutrition. I never drank. If I went out, I'd be back in bed early. I just did that. That's all I did. Machine.
20s?
Yeah. So when did we meet? 10 years ago. So it would be 2009. So, yeah. Yeah. 2000. So 2009.
Math is not required here.
Kind of a little bit is when we but mostly 2010. So
gotcha
about that. But that is all I was driven for. Is that. Because 2010 is when I competed in the World Games. And so that was literally all my life. I'm just going to do this. That's all I did. And like even my coaches admitted it, like after, like you got him to cheat. You got him to go out and drink. Things that you should be doing that I was so robotic. And it's so funny to see that like people at workplaces and relationships, they think that you can't be a robot. And it's exactly what you're saying about, you and your wife, that you thought it was her, but she saved you. It is. I think two people
probably both, right?
Complement each other to be that fit to that perfect piece of that yin and the yang, but you both in the same sense now are the yang and the yang. You are both the positive at times, and then you're both. You literally are. You're each a piece of it.
Absolutely.
It would be like taking the yin and the yang and turn it into a 4-piece puzzle.
Right.
You each are mixed of yin and yang to make one whole, complete circle.
Totally, yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize when it comes to, human relationships, that there is that balance, that some person will help someone at some time. They might be that, shoulder. They might just be that, okay, they're keeping you going. And then it could be years, and all of a sudden, boom, now it's your turn to do that because they need you in that sense.
Yeah, and that's a hard thing to think about when you start going through your mind the years past, whatever it may be, fights or just whatever they are, and you start looking at them in a very now kind of moment, is like there was a lot of not understanding what you were doing as a youth, as a young man.
Yeah.
You do a lot of things that are reactionary without any thought.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's all bravado and ego and whatever, and we all still have it in us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll go back to what I was saying earlier. You're going to find yourself when you're on this path of trying to be a better version of yourself, no matter what that means.
Absolutely.
You're going to find yourself tripping and falling and getting dirty, going to need to get a shower. You're going to need to get a Band-Aid, put on a boo-boo or two. You know, you're going to need that. And that's actually a really good thing.
Yes.
Because you know when you fall down and you dust yourself up, or you go home, you get a shower, you come back, you go at round 2, that's another opportunity to prove your worth. That's another fight that you're being given, no matter what that fight is.
Yes.
And if you don't recognize just the potential of that moment and what it could do for you, then you're wasting it. And we did that.
Mm-hmm.
We did that. We all did that. We all still do that.
Everyone does.
It's not easy. For one, it's not easy to spot it when you're doing it, right? Like internally, you're like, oh, wait a minute, what am I doing? But even more so, it's harder to stop it and reverse it. Yes. And, you know, it's just like meditation. I think that's why meditation is how it is as far as the traditional stuff with your breathing and sitting down in the funny position and all that. I think that having that path of breath focus, and you deviate, like, ooh, squirrel, you know, whatever, that ability to come back in life, that ability to stay, to do what you need to do, but to, okay, I'm going to go off here.
Yeah.
And be okay with that. And not like, oh, shit, I got all this stuff I got to do, and anxiety and blah, and bills and this and that and the other, and making people happy all the time. No, get back on path. Focus on what you're doing. But it's okay that you took a little detour. It's all right.
Yeah.
Jesus. Everybody does it.
Mm-hmm.
Get back on path. Do it again. You do that enough times, well, you might be winning your 3rd or 4th title. You might be, you know what I mean? You never know what you're doing.
It's part of life's journey of you get lost and kicked off the trail and you stumble through the woods, the thickets, and then, oh, there it is again. That is life.
Yeah.
It's exactly it's many moments of being lost and then many moments of yourself, you know, finding where you're supposed to go. But that is how the character, that is how we develop as people, how mindsets change. It's no different than watching children.
Yeah.
As they grow, the things, oh, no. Oh, cool, they found their path. You know, that is life. That is exactly, I think, what it's meant to be.
I think so, too. And I'm really happy to be here.
Yes.
Because there were many times where, you know, you whether you want to admit it or not, and hopefully some of you've never come to that thought of maybe taking your own life or taking some drastic measure for a change or for attention or for because you're just pissed off at yourself or whatever. Get back on track.
Yeah.
Stay on course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I think that we've said that enough times.
Yeah.
As always, man, it's been a pleasure, and I thank you for letting me let off some steam too.
Hey,
I really appreciate it. And yeah, okay. Until next time, folks.
Thank you.
We'll bid you a fine farewell and take you out with some more DiBiase here. Cool.
Hit it.